Hi, I'm Vicky. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you part 5. So I showed this before. The next thing I want to do is make this long overskirt. So I had a very long bronze colored skirt that has a bit of a train on it. And I cut it open. So now I'm going to sew the edges so that it doesn't look like I cut it open. And I got some pieces of leather, which I already filmed to make the belt. So first I'm going to sew this shut. So this part is pretty simple. I just folded over the edge to make I didn't even make a special hem. Making sure that I got the elastic sewed in too. And used a slightly wide stitch. And I just used the same green thread that I used on the tank top that I made earlier. So now that the skirt is done, I'm going to make the belt. So you can see I cut these pieces of leather out, and I have these rings, and I'm going to hand sew the leather to make the little strappy bits. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to put a snap on the skirt so that I can snap the belt in. Because I'm hoping, eventually to lose some weight. And I'd like to be able to adjust it using the snap, moving the snaps in later in time. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, the snap should make it easy to put on and off as well. And even with just this much sewing done, I already like the way it's going to look. So the belt, it's not really a belt. I suppose you could do the whole, make a complete belt out of it. But even the pattern was just the tabs. And then you end up sewing it to the skirt. Or in my case, snapping it to the skirt. So this is going to be pretty neat. So since the sewing's not that exciting, I decided to take a time out on finishing that part and look at the snap situation. So you can see me unwrapping this. I think it's called the crocodile. I got this at a yard sale, and it can make hole punches, and supposedly it can do snaps. And my husband bought a giant thing of various colored snaps. As you can see, I haven't opened the package yet. But so I spent quite a bit of time trying to understand how to use the crocodile and actually really snaps in general. I haven't done snaps in forever. So I didn't really remember what I needed to do. And I looked at all kinds of things. YouTube, the instructions on the snaps, on just a lot of different things, and eventually I ended up doing it the old-fashioned way, because the snaps were a snap kit. They came with the little punches that you needed to install the snaps correctly. I mean, I tried a whole bunch of things with the crocodile. I think it will be very useful. It did punch the holes very well. And if you had less decorative snaps, I was trying to use something that looked a lot like kind of matched the skirt. So if I had less decorative snaps, like all the little plastic snaps, it probably would have worked. But I had to play around quite a bit to remember how to do this. But eventually, we got something going with the punches. I practiced on this little piece of cloth that I had practiced sewing on to make sure I wasn't bird's nesting anymore. And you can see I picked some of the bronzy or antiqued brass colored, because they match the rivets that are on my corset. So that's what I'm going to be snapping in addition to the belt. So after an hour, maybe an hour and a half of investigation, I finally understand how to make the snaps, do the snaps. So I'm going to add one to here. So those are the parts that need to snap together on my corset. So we're going to do as much as we can right here. That might be too thick. Let's do it a little farther apart though. Nice. Process is a little persnickety. The male part and this part, and then we're going to test this. Well, hopefully that will do it. And nicely it matches what we had before, the rivets that are in here. All right, well, hopefully this works for me. I may need to put another set of snaps if it doesn't hold strong enough, but at least we have a chance. So the whole point of this, the whole point of putting these snaps in was with this corset, I found that since I have a little bit bigger hips, the bottom of the corset is long enough that they pushes up into my armpits, and it's very uncomfortable after a half hour or so. And since I want to be able to wear it all day, so I'm trying this, and we'll see how it goes. Now I do have to put 2 more snaps in for these pieces of leather, but I'm going to do that in a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is just finish the sewing of the leather pieces. I just wanted to try that part, so. And back to the sewing. Now I'm using the thimble. It made it a little bit easier to get the needle through the leather. And that's it for part 5. I do have to finish this up, add the rest of the snaps, and do a little bit more stuff. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this. Bye.